Where would I go right now for under £100? That's the challenge. And with prices heating up for summer, it's about to get harder, but I'm not rich and I refuse to stop travelling. Let's see what I can pull off. As you probably know by now, I'm not rich. I've said it often enough, but I do love travelling without spending much. And with the weather warming up, along with the prices, it's time to see what kind of trip I can pull off for under £100. The sort of budget normally reserved for butlins on a winter staycation. And in fact, I'm going to make this even harder. Because yes, I've done Bilbao, Athens and even Stockholm for under £100 per person. But with 2 or more people, you can bring the hotel cost down because you're all sharing a room. But this time, I'm going to try a solo trip. Still warm, still under budget. Let's see if I can do it. So strap in and see what we're up to. So here's my process. I open up Google Flights and I don't mess around. I chuck in a few different UK airports for the origin, London, Manchester, Liverpool, but we all know it's going to come up with London as the cheapest, but you never know. Then I set the destination as anywhere. Yep, literally anywhere. Next step, I switch to map mode. You'll see prices popping up all over Europe. Some will surprise you, or some will just interest you. As soon as I spot a few destinations that look promising, I note them down, especially if there's somewhere I actually want to go. Hot tip, sometimes use the one-way option, because Google Flights automatically tries to find a good return package, whereas sometimes you can be better than it at working out one-way options. For example, Google Flights will not put in a different return airport, but when you're talking, especially on the longer haul flights, you can talk hundreds of pounds difference if you fly out of Heathrow and come back to Gatwick. So then I go back into it, I've got my destination, I then still don't put any dates in, I use the calendar and quickly scan for the best outbound deals, then flip it for the return days. Takes a few minutes, but the savings can be massive. So it seems obvious, Budapest is calling. A solo trip for £49 return with Wizz Air, and I'm fairly convinced I can lock in somewhere affordable to lay my head. Sure, Ryanair was a similar price, but I went with Wizz for one simple reason. I'm in the discount club, which means I'm going to get at least £15 off that fare. Just to quickly explain, the Wizz Air discount club, £40 a year, you get a discount off every flight you take each way. Can be as much as £9.99 off. On these cheaper ones it's more likely to be £7.50. However, that's each way, that's £15, worth having. I think you will usually make it back on one trip if you're going with 2 people, but that £15 really counts when you're trying to squeeze a holiday out of less than 100. It might be the difference between a bed and, well, having a roof or not. Plus, Wizz tends to fly into Budapest main airport, which is super handy for quick transfers. Less time I spend getting there, the more time I have for thermal baths, paprika heavy goulash and pretending I'm in a Wes Anderson film on the tram. Right, so you'll be wondering where you'll be sleeping on this budget adventure. Well, I'm already ahead of you. Expedia threw up a place called Flow Spaces, a clean looking hostel that comes in at £48 for 3 nights. Yep, that's for a dorm bed. But I've gone to these before and been the only person there. Might not be so lucky in July. But if you're travelling solo and don't mind sharing, it's a solid option. Personally, I'm always a bit awkward about waking up a room full of strangers for my early flight. But what the hell, you'll never see them again. However, the morning before somebody may have woken you up for an early morning flight. Worth it for staying under budget though. But if hostels aren't your thing or you snore loud enough to get kicked out, that's a possibility with me, you've got a backup. The Hotel Dominic Panzio offers a single private room for £67. Yes, that's £16 over my budget, but then again, if you're a Wizz Air discount club member, you're still on budget. But honestly, it's a pretty good trade for your own space. And if you're travelling with a mate or partner, or in my case, usually one of my kids, it also offers a twin or double room at £100 each, which drops you right back to under £100 per person. So whether you're going full backpacker or you just want some peace and quiet, Budapest has got you covered. Don't forget, we are talking July. The weather's great. We're in that period where people are sneaking their kids out of school for a week's holiday. You know, to all intents and purposes, it's summer, it's a European city, and it's under £100. What are you going to get in the UK for that? you'd be lucky to get a travel lodge in York for one night. Next up, what can we actually do there without blowing the budget? So what do you do? Well, yes, food and drink are cheap, as they are in most Eastern European countries. Public transport's a bargain too, but when it comes to sightseeing, I like to see what's there. And I try to do it as authentically as I can. So I open up Viator. And yet there's a plethora of cruises, pub crawls, day trips, guided walking tours, but here's the thing. I'm a budget traveller, and while I may do a paid tour just to get the vibe, which I often do, I must be getting old because I love a little coach trip to somewhere with a guide telling you all about it, and you get to chat to other travellers, which is especially important when you're on your own because solo travelling can get a little bit lonely. But I always go to the walking tour itinerary on Viator. Look at this one, it costs £65, then I DIY it. I literally just copy the itinerary, put it into Google Maps and go to those destinations. This particular one stops at the Hungarian State Opera House. You walk down Andrassy Avenue, you take in Hero Square and City Park, you go by the, I don't know how to say this, Vajradonhanyad Castle and the Shishenchi Baths. You drop by St Stephen's Basilica and Parliament, you stop for strudel and tea, and you go over the Chain Bridge to finish up at Buda Castle and the Fisherman's Bastion. The beauty is you can do as few or as many of them as you want, but if someone set that as a walking tour, you follow that order, you're going to pass by other interesting stuff. You've got your phone in your hand, you can Wikipedia it or whatever, you can find out a lot. The chances are you're following a well-trodden path, so you're going to bump into other travellers and maybe end up on a good all afternoon sesh. So it's a full day out with history, architecture, coffee, politics and views for basically the cost of a pastry and a metro ticket. So you just copy that itinerary, or steal it, if you must put it that way. If you want a guide, why not take me with you? You're watching the free version right now. Now I'm not booking this one because that week I'll be in Marrakesh with Suin. But bear in mind that trip was also feasible for £100 each if you took the budget option, and that was for a week. In fact, you can check out the video if you're curious. If you've watched me before, you'll know £100 seems to be my sweet spot. We did Krakow for £94 each, Athens twice for under a £1, Bulgaria for £86, and even Stockholm for just £70 per person. And while researching this one, I also spotted Barcelona, Madrid, Geneva, Florence, all with return flights under 60. Some of them would be closer to 40 if you're a Wizz Air Discount Club member. But on these circumstances, I couldn't get the accommodation under budget on those. But it just goes to show there are still real options out there that don't break the bank, even when the sun comes out and the prices go up. So I'll always be there looking for them. Why not see if you fancy any of them? If there's anything you'd like me to look at, let me know in the comments below, and we'll see you soon.